Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Oh man, this is gonna be really exciting. I'm planning on making an owl effigy jar today. Oh boy. So this is gonna be a really great challenge for me. And speaking of challenges, this is part of Andy Ward's Ancient Pottery Challenge for this season. He picked out some really cool stuff. And this is one of them, this Salado-themed owl effigy. Oh boy. And I've got a lot to figure out when it comes to making this thing. So let's dive right into it, shall we? So Andy posted a picture of the owl effigy jar that I'm going to be trying to recreate. It doesn't have all the angles, so this is going to be a rather big challenge for me because when I do a replica, I always like to have as much reference material as I possibly can for making it. So this is going to give me a lot of freedom just to have a good old fun time and just go a little bit off the rails when it comes to making it. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect of this project. So when I was studying the picture, I wound up sketching out a really rough idea of what the jar is supposed to look like. And much to my surprise, it's just a giant mug-shaped jar. So that'll make making the jar part pretty simple. We won't get into those complications though until we get to the eyes and the other details on it. But this right here is what I drew up. I've got, as you can see, the basic outline of what it's supposed to somewhat look like. My first attempt, I made it way too small. I was like, yikes. And I've got some of the details that I've sketched in on what all I'm going to be making right here, but this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So before we dive right into this, let me go over the tools that I'm going to be using on this project. So nothing too crazy. I've got here my Pookie that I'm going to be using. I was debating, should I go with this larger size or should I go with this smaller size? Because I'm going to be using some clay that shrinks really crazy like. So this might actually wind up being this size, but I want some little teeny tiny little owl. But I just feel like this is going to be the one I'm going to go with. So I'm going to ditch this guy and we're going to go with this little one today. So it's not going to be too crazy. I got my jar of water right here. Definitely need a lot of water when it comes to working with clay. I've got here my gourd scraper. This is a really invaluable tool. Probably be the primary tool that I'll be using besides some smoothing rocks. Which leads me to my next tools that I'm going to be using. Some good old smoothing rocks. And I've got a cutting rock somewhere around here that, I better look for that before I need it down the road here. That looks like it's missing from this collection right here. But that's basically all the tools I'm going to be using. So let's get started on this project. Should we get that clay really pressed in well. Break this in half a little bit. That might be too much. Get it into a nice ball shape. Make sure those coils are nice and pressed in. All right, so we've got the main bulk of the work already completed. We're ready to move on to the really hard stuff, and that's going to be creating those eyes and then that strange little brow that goes around this. So what I've done here is I've outlined where the brow and eyes are going, and we'll smooth this all out once I figure out if this is even going to work. This could be a total disaster. But we'll give it a try. What I'm planning on doing is making like a very thin coil. I was originally going to carve it out, but then I figured, you know what, a coil might be a little bit easier for this. So let's see what happens. It's pretty thin right there. And the goal is to kind of just put him on there like that. Just like so. It's not too bad right now. Well, that looks kind of crazy. Wow. All right, this is where things are going to get really tricky. It's always the eyes. It's going to be the first thing you're probably going to notice when you look at this thing. So if they're uneven or one's bigger than the other, you're definitely going to notice that right off the bat. This one looks like it might be a little bit bigger, so we'll take a bit off of that. I'll just kind of start to lightly tap it. There we go. We got two eyes. Hopefully that's about the right size for this. Just pop that on there just to see how it looks. Looks all right. I'll just gently put that on there to make sure that's where we want it to go. All right, so we're in the home stretch for this. This is looking kind of crazy. I got here a little teeny tiny ball of clay. We're just going to press that into the eye. There's one. Did I grab the wrong one? That one looks a little bit bigger. Let's just take this small guy here. Uh-oh. That looks kind of googly-eyed. Well, this is coming along pretty good, don't you think? Oh man, this is one crazy jar. Well, when I was making it, I realized there is a number of complications that can go wrong with this thing, from the eyes popping off during the drying stage. We've got all these other thick layers here from the brows and eyes themselves that could also crack if it dries unevenly. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to let this firm up for a bit, and we'll come back to this and get it all smoothed out, let it dry, and then we'll put that nice white slip over it. But this is looking pretty cool so far. This is a short little owl. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it as tall as it needed to be. As I started building up, my Pookie just couldn't support it. It was too rounded at the bottom, and this thing was going that way and tipping over every way. So I had to just finally cap it off at this height. It's going to be a bit of an issue when it comes time to paint the design on this thing, but we'll worry about that later on. I think this turned out pretty darn cool so far. Oh man, not gonna hold my breath yet. Hopefully this thing dries pretty decent. You never know. It always seems that something comes up with these things, but this is really cool. So we'll come back when it's time to put the slip on this thing. All right, I think it's time we start adding our slip to this jar. I've got here my white clay that's ready to roll. And I've got this paintbrush I'm gonna be using to apply it on. The main reason I'm using this is I want to really make sure it gets pressed into that clay for this first coat. We'll go over it with something a little bit finer for the next coat. It's alright if it runs a little bit. We'll get that taken care of. This is really soupy. There we go. Well, it's been a few days with this owl drying, so let's check this little guy out. Oh man. Looks okay so far. I don't really see any crazy cracks or issues. We may have lucked out with the drying stage for this guy. So I've got here my yucca brushes I'm going to be using to paint this owl with. And then I'm going to be using some mesquite sap as well for this project. First I've got to soak these though and get them nice and soft, because as you can tell, they're really hard bristled right now and that's going to serve me no good. So I'm going to let these soak for about an hour, get these bristles nice and soft, and then we'll start painting this crazy owl. Well, I'm out here in the desert and I'm getting ready to fire up that good owl effigy. Oh boy, I'm a little bit nervous. There's a good chance I can either blow this up because I've been having some bad luck lately. It could be left with a lot of carbon, or maybe, just maybe, with my fingers crossed, we might actually have some success. So let's get started on this quick firing. So as you can see, we got the fire going well underway right now. Let's take some temperature readings. Oh wow, this thing is really going good. Burning well all around on all sides. Oh man, look at this little guy. He is pretty crazy. I'm gonna get him home, get him cleaned up. Looks a little bit filthy right here. I'm hoping this is gonna clean up a little bit wider, but I don't know. Got some weird streaking going on in this organic paint. I don't know what happened with this mesquite. Never seen that before. Hopefully it's just really dirty. Had a little bit of water sometimes cleans that off. The bottom didn't come out too good. A little bit of carbonish. The top half is still pretty good. Overall, I'm super happy and excited this thing didn't explode. I've been having a lot of bad luck with this Salado stuff lately. All of a sudden, everything that I made either cracks or explodes on me. I don't know if it's a sign to move on to a different style of pottery, but I had a lot of fun making this thing. Wow, that has got one super cool ding to it, doesn't it? Oh man, yeah, that is cool. All I gotta do now is get home, get this guy cleaned up, and take a couple pictures. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the making of this crazy little effigy owl. This was a lot of fun to experiment around with. And it was so much fun just to have a carefree project where I didn't have to worry about getting the right lines when I'm replicating. This is just a really all-around fun project. So thanks Andy Ward again for creating this wonderful fun project. And I'm really looking forward to what other challenges you may put out down the road. Well, if you enjoyed this, please be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this project. All right, my friends, till next time.